So, you want to be rich? Well, today we're going to be diving into two of America's most wealthiest families, the Rockefellers and the Vanderbilts. We're going to explore the pitfalls of the Vanderbilts and what not to do as a billionaire, or as a trillionaire, or even as a millionaire, or even as a thousandaire. I'm also going to unveil the Rockefeller strategy, highlighting the keys to legacy success, and explain how you, a simple civilian, or a hungry entrepreneur, can build generational wealth. Now, before we get into the Rockefeller strategy, let's examine the story of the Vanderbilts, a cautionary tale of wealth that did not stand the tests of time. Now, I'm not even going to be giving the Vanderbilts that much of an explanation, or time for that matter, simply because they're the people that you don't want to look up to when you're trying to build generational wealth. The Vanderbilts rose to prominence with their transportation empire, with trains. In 1877, their fortune stood at around $100 million. That's equivalent to about $2 billion today. However, the reason they didn't make it is because they overspent. Yes, that is true. They were spending more than they were making, which obviously led to a financial decline. Their success with trains was not met with the same success of strategic diversification, which left them very vulnerable to economic landscapes. In fact, it only took 30 years until every single member of the Vanderbilt wasn't even a millionaire. So, what can we learn from the Vanderbilts? Well, here's what not to do. Number 1, avoid excessive spending. If you make $2,000 a month, don't spend $2,000 a month. If you make $10,000 a month, don't spend $10,000 a month. If you make $1 million a month, don't spend $1 million a month. Pretty common sense. Before you begin spending, you must diversify your wealth so that when you do spend, there's no punishments. Don't just put all of your eggs in one basket into one account. You don't want to be left in a vulnerable spot. If one basket breaks, you still have all the others. This is possible, and this is how the Rockefellers did it. Number 2, don't forget to plan for your finances. The Vanderbilts didn't plan for long-term wealth, so instead, they ended up with financial instability. It's the equivalent of saying, oh yeah, I want to retire, but then you don't know how much you want to retire at. You don't know how much you want to live off of every single month in order to feel good. Instead, most people, what they do, they go their entire lives working, they wait until they get to their 50s and 60s, and then they start planning for their retirement. You need to start now. And the 4th thing is that they simply failed to build a lasting legacy. If they had legacy and long-term in mind, the rest of their family would still be billionaires to this day, if not trillionaires. Now that we've learned from the mistakes of the Vanderbilts, let's transition into the Rockefeller strategy. The one strategy you've probably been waiting for. Now, the Rockefellers grew to their levels of wealth through oil and the oil refinery process. John D. Rockefeller started in around 1870 in Ohio. John is often referred to as the richest man in American history. In 1937, he was worth around $1.5 billion. That's equivalent to around $190 billion today. When he passed away, 95% of his wealth was given to John D. Rockefeller Jr., and this is where the Rockefellers took a different approach than the Vanderbilts. See, instead of spending his money, John D. Rockefeller Jr. actually kept the money, and he actually put it into a family bank. So this following strategy that I'm about to give you outlines the actual steps that it's going to take to build generational wealth that the Vanderbilts couldn't. These steps that I'm about to give you is your blueprint for generational wealth that will stand the test of time. Number 1, create a family office. You need to establish a family office with the following titles. You need trusted advisors, a tax person, an investment specialist, an insurance expert, an estate planner, and a real estate professional. Having each of these members a part of your office is going to give you comprehensive financial management. You're not going to have to become a jack of all trades because you have other experts that will know how to help you and handle your finances, not only for you, but with you. Number 2, craft a family constitution. You can't have long-term, generational, large massive wealth and just randomly give it away to your nephew simply because he wants a new car. There needs to be a strategy set in place for each dollar and where it's going and how it's being used. You must craft a family constitution that outlines guidelines, philosophies, and values that you and your family are going to follow when it comes to taking out of this trust. This constitutional document is going to become your pivotal cornerstone for maintaining and generating wealth for generations to come. Step 3, create a family board. This board is going to be responsible for the collective decision making of your family, especially regarding financial matters. This kind of a board system is going to be based on voting, and within this family board, a vote can determine whether someone can borrow money, which ensures a very balanced approach, a balanced and respectable approach. And step 4, establish a trust. This trust is your family bank. It's like Wells Fargo or any other bank, but it's yours. This trust can be funded through many different ways, such as life insurance, death benefits, property sales, business sales, or gradual funding throughout one's lifetime. So in conclusion, the Vanderbilts taught us that you can't trust every single person, even your family. Not every single one of them are going to hold the same discipline and values and wealth mindset that you do. And what did the Rockefellers teach us? That you can love your family just the same, but with a strategic system and roadmap in place to make sure that generational wealth continues for lifetimes. And if you're looking for this kind of wealth, comment down below. I'm gonna hook you up. Until next time, remember, experience does not equal potential.